Hello and welcome back once again to Movie Reviews. As you may notice from the background, I'm not in my normal spot. Trying out a different theater. The one I normally go to, they didn't get any new movies in lately other than Ninja Turtles. Like I said before, they didn't get Lucy, they didn't get Guardians of the Galaxy, they haven't got like the Expendables and all this other stuff that's just recently came out. But looking at where the next nearest theater was, other than the other one up the street that charges like $13 for a ticket during matinee price, I found out there was one, it's like 7-8 miles from where I live, and matinee price in the morning is $4.75, so basically I can come over here any day of the week and see a movie, compared to having to wait till Tuesday to see them for $5 at the local theater. And then even after matinee price here, it's like $6.75, so still not that big of a difference. If I'm going to be paying $5 for a movie, might as well come over here and pay $5 and see whatever I want, anytime, any day. So actually made it a multiple movie day again. I was trying to knock out some of the stuff that I missed the last couple weeks, now that my car is back in running condition and I can drive over here. So first thing up I saw today, I was trying to plan them out by how I could see one after another. And so I had to start the day with the Expendables, because that one started right when they opened at 10:30. So Expendables 3 is what this review is going to be. Then I'll be back after this one with a couple others. So, what did I think of this movie? Being a fan of the Expendables films, I liked it. This one was a little bit slower paced than the other two. A lot more stuff was going on, like story-wise, as opposed to just non-stop action like the last two were. Basically, I did take notes, but there's not really a whole lot, so I'm just going to kind of tell you like what happens throughout the film and kind of go from there. So we start out with the Expendables breaking Wesley Snipes' character out of prison. And apparently Wesley was like one of the original Expendables back. This isn't the current group we know, isn't the originals. There was like a group of 5 that started, and then they built up to like 22, and then that dwindled back down to what we have now. So apparently he was one of the originals, and they break him out of this jail that he's been in for the last 8 years. Supposedly it was like a Black Ops prison or something, so it technically doesn't even exist. And then like Dolph Lundgren's character and the other newer guys like Randy Couture, I don't know their names in the movie, but they ask him, so what were you in prison for? And jokingly, obviously, as with all Expendables films, they're going to throw inside jokes about real life into the film. So of course Wesley looks at them and sarcastically says tax evasion. So yeah, that's what he was in jail for real. So yeah, nice to see Wesley back. Unfortunately he didn't really do a whole lot. He did have a couple short action scenes, so you get to see a little bit of his martial arts. But then like not really a lot happens for the next half of the movie. Turns out the guy they're going after, not really a spoiler, I kind of called it from the preview. He's someone that Sylvester Stallone's character knows from the past, and if you remember what I said earlier, you probably know how he knows him, without spoiling it. So, they kind of get their asses handed to him, and Terry Crews' character gets injured, so he's kind of out for the rest of the movie. And Sylvester Stallone disbands the team because he's like, he's come to care about them too much to put their lives in danger. Almost losing Terry Crews' character kind of made him realize that he's too close to these guys now. So if he wants to go take down this guy, he's going to need a new team. So he kind of dismisses them, and they're kind of like, yeah, whatever, screw you, And he goes and puts together this younger team of all these like 20-year-old kids, all like up-and-coming action stars. I didn't really know any of them. The whole point of the Expendables movies is to see like your old like 80s and early 90s action stars coming together and doing these shoot 'em up action adventure movies. That's the whole point of this franchise. But at the same time, he's slowly trying to introduce some younger up-and-coming talent. So here's like 4 new guys that he brings onto his team. When he's he's scouting them through Kelsey Grammer's character, which I don't remember Kelsey Grammer being in the other 2, so yeah, that was a little interesting seeing him. But he really doesn't do anything action-wise. He's just kind of a recruiter, keeps an eye on people and like helps them find work as mercenaries or assassins or whatever. So he takes him to see this one kid who's climbing up the side of a mountain, and Sylvester Stallone's character looks up and says, "Yeah, I could do that," kind of making a reference to his movie Cliffhanger. Then the kid falls off the mountain, but like has a parachute, and Kelsey Grammer goes, "Yeah, but you couldn't do that." He's like, "You're right, I couldn't." So, again, a little inside joke nod. So then we're introduced to Harrison Ford's character, who is replacing Bruce Willis's character. Apparently he's Bruce Willis's character's superior. Anyone who knows the backstory, Bruce Willis didn't really want to do the movie. He wanted a bunch of money and didn't really want to like do the acting. He just kind of wanted to do all this stuff in one day, one take, and get paid. And then he wanted like double the pay they originally offered him. It was like supposed to be like 6 days worth of work. They were going to give him like $3 million, and he said he thought he should get $6 million, $1 million for each day or something like that. So Sylvester Stallone kicked him off the project and brought in Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford, when I could understand what the hell he was saying, it was kind of funny. And I say that because most of his lines were jokes about not being able to understand what other people were saying. He's talking to Jason Statham's character, and he's like, "I can't understand a damn thing you're saying." So Sylvester Stallone's having to translate it, and then he goes, "Seriously, what is this guy saying?" And Sylvester Stallone looks at him and he goes, "I kind of have a hard time understanding what you're saying too." To Jason Statham's character, kind of be like, "I only understand half of what you ever say to me," type of thing. And then Jason Statham looks at Sylvester Stallone and goes, "Look who's talking," So they're all making fun of the fact that they're sort of hard to understand at times. Another part, Harrison Ford's character tells someone to stop mumbling, which is something Harrison Ford's become known for. If anybody watches or listens to Kevin Smith's podcast, Hollywood Babylon, they're always making fun of how Harrison Ford mumbles and how he possibly had a stroke at some point. And I don't know if Harrison Ford actually listens to the podcast, because he actually made a joke towards Sylvester Stallone a couple times that if he wasn't careful, he was going to have a stroke or something. So I don't know if that was supposed to be an inside joke towards that, or if one of them actually had a stroke at some point. I think I kind of remember something about Sylvester Stallone being hospitalized for something, but who knows. So yeah, then Jet Li comes back in this one. Pretty much towards the end. Turns out when he left in the second one, he stopped working for Sylvester Stallone's character and went to work for Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, who's, again, helping out in this one. Again, with the inside jokes, Arnold Schwarzenegger comes running in at one point. He's like, "Hurry, get to the chopper!" So if any of you know that internet meme from, what movie was that? Commando, I believe? It's been a long time since I watched that. So yeah, basically, the story is Sylvester Stallone brings in this younger team because he's too close to the other guys and doesn't want to see any more of his family die. The young kids get captured, so he's going to go back in alone to get them out. And the old team comes in and says, "You may have fired us, but we're still family, so deal with it." And they all go and rescue the younger guys. Then once the younger guys are free, all 10 of them, basically, plus Arnold and Harrison Ford and Jet Li's character, all kind of like take on this guy who's played by Mel Gibson. And that's kind of the climax of it. After that, it's just more people added to the Expendables family. So yeah, that's the third one. I hear he is playing a fourth one, and he's wanting to make it an all-female. cast. Not sure what the storyline with that would be to get it to where he had to have an all-female team. He's had females on the last two. Jet Li's character was replaced by, I want to say Lucy Liu, might have been, I don't know. And then he had a female as one of his new recruits in this one, whose name I can't think of, sorry. So, yeah, it's, would be interesting to see what takes him to an all-female cast. But yeah. So anyway, that's, Expendables 3. As far as a star rating, I'm gonna give it like a 3. I was gonna say 3.5, but you know, it's on par with the other Expendables movies. If you like the franchise, you're gonna like this one. It does lose a little bit because this one's really story heavy when he's recruiting the new guys. You know, it spends a good probably 20-30 minutes of the movie just recruiting these new characters, and it kind of stops the story. It's like, okay, can we move forward, you know, do a quick recruit and then get to know the characters as you're doing the mission. So yeah, I lose a little bit there. Otherwise, I'd probably rank it a little bit higher. I'd probably still rank it about 3. I was going to say 3.5, but yeah, I don't know, it's somewhere in there. I'm going to go with a 3 on this one. So that's it for this episode. I'll be back in a moment with my next movie review for today. I'm going to roll down the windows and get some air in here because it is ridiculously hot. I don't know if you can see the sweat coming off of me right now. It's gross. So yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes with the next review. Until then, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Movie Reviews.